Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Charlotte, and today's YouTube video is a little story time. So I have not filmed a bookish video in all of 2026, and I'm so sorry about that. I've been very busy. I started acting school. I started college. Well, I started that last year already, but I'm in college, getting my bachelor's finally, a little later than people would think, but we're doing it. But I'm in full-time acting school. I've been doing a bunch of really fun things and just following my dreams, so I haven't been posting as many YouTube videos, and I also don't really know what you guys want to see, so let me know, because we are so back, baby, also with a new little setup. But okay, so I went to the Barnes & Noble Book Fest at Union Square, and it was on Friday the 20th of March, and I thought I could do a little story time about it, because when I tell you that this was the wildest experience I have ever had, I genuinely mean it. So my time slot was 3 p.m. Now, I grew up watching these videos of people going, sounds like I'm ancient, but I would watch these videos a lot, and I was always like, oh, like, I really want to go, and, last year looked so fun, so I was like, I really want to go. I didn't really do too much research. I just kind of booked my ticket, and I made sure I booked it, like, right when they released them. I think I was on my computer, like, book. Got it. I got a 3 p.m. slot, which was the first time slot, and so I was so excited. So I had no friends to go with, so I was like, okay, we're gonna make new friends, we're gonna meet new people. So I got there at, I would say, like 11. I got there at 11. My time slot wasn't until 3 p.m. Keep that in mind. I had like probably 20 people before me in line already. I stood in line, I made friends, I met some amazing people. I had a great time in line, okay? In line, we were hyping each other up. We had this like Google Doc, this unofficial Google Doc, which we were looking at the books. Someone's husband was editing in the authors. We had like unofficial maps of where which publisher was going to be. Now, I didn't know anything about BookFest, and if you're like me and you're not like, what is she talking about? BookFest basically is kind of like BookCon, but it's not. So Barnes & Noble Union Square puts on once a year. They invite publishers who have arcs, and then you as a reader, you pay a flat fee of around, after taxes, it was probably like $55, and then you go in and you get a bunch of free arcs. Arcs are advanced readers copies, so books that have not officially been out yet or been released. So that's kind of what BookFest is, right? So I was so excited. We're in line for like basically all day. So we get closer and closer to 3 p.m. They give us wristbands. Now 3 p.m. was like a blue wristband. And then they basically tell everybody from the 3 p.m. line, depending on when you were kind of like in line, to line up in a separate line. So we had the original line where we had people that were at the top of that line whose time slot wasn't until 6 p.m. So they were in that line, then you were kind of pulled out, and like depending on how long you'd been queuing, also if you hear noise, that's my cat, how long you'd been queuing, you were pulled into like a separate line. Now I went into the separate line. I think I would say there was like 6 or 7 people maybe in front of me, so I was pretty far along in this line. I was one of the first going in, right? Okay, so we go in, we walk all the way up to the 4th floor, where if you've ever been to that Barnes & Noble, I think it's the biggest, but basically on the 4th floor is where they have the author signings. So if you've watched some of my vlogs, sometimes I've been to book signings there if I've posted them, and it's usually up at that kind of spot. Now, I kid you not, I think over 100 people had, I might be wrong with like how many people, because I'm also dyslexic when it comes to numbers, so numbers are not my strong suit, but I think over 100 people had the time slot of 3 p.m. That's at least what it looks like from videos I've seen that people have now posted on TikTok and Instagram. But so all these people have the 3 p.m. slot. There's a limited amount of books, so if you're earlier in the line, you're going to get more books. I assumed, because I've been in line with these people, and all the people that I am friends with are the sweetest human beings ever, I want to stress that, and they were all like, Charlotte, it's going to be crazy, grab and go, and I'm like, sure. I'm a tall girl, okay? I'm 5'11", I'm a tall girl. When I tell you, I was petrified for my life. We get up there, and people are like animals. They're like running, they're grabbing several of the same book. I'm like, girl, you only need one. They're grabbing like several copies, they're pushing, they're elbowing. I got an elbow to the stomach hard, so I'm like, oof, I go down. I'm tall. I wanted 2 arcs, which I really wanted, which was Unbound by Peyton Corinne and The Auction by Sadie Kincaid. I go to one table, I got one book, go to another table, I like, hey, excuse me, do you have, people just swiping books. Oh, bags open, they're swiping books. These poor people working these booths, I think, were like, what the fuck? So I'm like, hey, do you have that book? And she goes, oh shit, no, it's gone. Kid you not, 2 seconds in. 2 seconds, that was the first table I went to. I grabbed one of the books off that table and I asked if they had that. I was like, okay, no problem. So I kind of continue on. I am petrified. I am standing, people are like rushing towards the table. I was like at the front of a table, people are pushing me forward. I can't get out. So I'm just like handing books back. I'm like, trying to get out. People aren't like moving away from the table. So instead of just like passing books back, it's like, it is chaos. I kid you not, I kind of low-key blacked out. Then Kay Walter was signing her newest book up on the stage. So when I got overwhelmed, I was like, I can't do this. I'm going to go grab that book, because that's also a book I really wanted, get my personalized copy, and then dash. So then I come back off of that stage. I really wanted the auction, right? So Unbound couldn't find that. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask this publisher if they have this book. I go like, hey, do you have this book? Like, wait, excuse me, hey, do you have this book? And she goes, I think we're out. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm not, if you're out, you're out, right? So I'm just, but she gives me a different book. She's like, oh, we have this. And then her colleague goes like, oh, if you like that kind of writing, like, they're like giving me books, right? So I think I had like 2 tote bags with books. I go a step back. So I was kind of like at the side. I go a step back. I'm just being pushed left and right. Again, I'm a tall girl. I am a certified Pilates instructor. I would like to think I am pretty strong. Mosh pit. You have probably been into like a Metallica mosh pit that is friendlier than what we were just. Metallica people are actually low-key really friendly in mosh pits. But like it was wild. I felt like I was at a festival and like people were just drunk and rowdy, but they weren't drunk, they were just rowdy, and people were like pushing. At one point, I kid you not, I'm a generally anxious person, I have anxiety, but my vision goes, and I'm having trouble breathing, so I'm like, okay, I'm having a panic attack, I need to get out of here. I go out of the bookstore, I come out. Mind you, the 4 p.m., the 5 p.m., the 6 p.m., the 7 p.m. people are still in line. I walk out, some of my friends were in later time slots. I walk out and they're like, girl, are you okay? I went in there happy-go-lucky. I came out, my mascara was smudged. Like tear streak smudged, but like smudged, like not running, like smudged. It was here, it was there. My body today, it's the day after, it does not know the difference between having a physical fight and what it went through. I came out, I was sweating, I was like breaking out in hives. I was like, I cannot, never freaking, I was like speechless. So I'm like telling these people, like, I'm like, okay guys, this is kind of what happened, just grab and go. Like, I'm literally stressing what people had told me about last year. I'm like, no, they were not exaggerating, you grab and you go, you grab and you go. And I'm also like, why were people grabbing several of one book? Like, it's just shitty behavior. I've been on BookTube so long. I used to watch Poland Banana Books, which is Christine Riccio. That's the author. She started off as a book YouTuber. I've been in this space since before Book Talk was a thing, okay? Since Musical.ly was around and people were lip singing on that platform. I've been on the space for so long, and the people I have met going to book conventions, book signings, book ever, for the most part, right, there are always some bad eggs, are the sweetest people ever and are lifelong friends. Now, there are people that I have met that have been rude, that have been disrespectful, that have been like me, which is fine, okay, everybody's different. But that whole entire thing, like, I met these amazing people, I made so many new friends, but when I went up to that floor, I was like, oh my god. Then one of my friends that I met in line, I was like, I wanted this one book, right? So I'm like in line, and it's not a line, it's like a mosh pit at this desk, at this like table, and they're small tables, they're like pushing forward. So I'm like, they were handing back the books. This is what they were doing good. The publisher was like handing them out and people were handing them back. I was like, may I have Firebound, please? People just running into me. I was like, I'm not made for this. And then my friend was like, Firebound, and then she gave it to me, which was so sweet, love her. And I met really, really sweet people. A girl was having a panic attack. This is no joke. She was having a panic attack and got her bag of books stolen. Think about that. You're in the corner having a panic attack and someone steals your bag. What has happened, guys? Like, what what has happened to human decency, what has happened to being kind. We're all here for the same reason, okay? I was speechless. I came out of there. I had to sit. I sat for an hour. I was like, I can't walk myself to the train right now. Like, my boyfriend was picking me up. I was like, I need to just decompress and just like stare at a wall. I kid you not. While I'm decompressing and staring at a wall, this is actually so funny. It's not funny at all, but now I have to laugh. These Barnes & Noble officials would come out and they'd say like, okay, 4 p.m. line, people like line up. And you have stood in line the whole entire day. You have been there since probably 10 a.m., right? 10, 11 a.m. You know who's in front of you, and you probably know who's like roughly behind you because you've been conversing with these people. We've all been in line. You're not going to suddenly jump the line, okay? Like we don't do that here. These 2 girls just go to the front of the line. They just walk to the front of the line. And then when my friends call them out, they're like, hey, you can't just go to the front of the line. They're like telling my friends that like, no, we were told here from Barnes & Noble officials to like go here. And we had the 2 officials that had like kind of been doing it most. We had seen them and they had not walked past. They had not said that. Again, we're now at the front of the line. Well, I'm just kind of sitting off to the corner, but my friends are like now with their time slot, so they're getting ready. And these girls like jumped, right? So, and they're like really like, no, like we were told this, like, and everybody's like, you weren't told this. Like, we are all here. Like, this is shitty behavior. They push this, like, she was so sweet. So sweet. She was a little bit more, like, height-wise smaller than me and very petite. They, like, push her to the side, and they're, like, yelling at her husband. And one of my friends was like, absolutely not. Like, we're not doing this. So then ultimately they were peer pressured because everybody was, like, yelling at them to go to the back of the line where they were. Go back to your spot in the line. These girls were, I kid you not, 4 people behind us. You did not have to do all that. Like, I was baffled. I was sitting there and I was baffled. I was baffled by human decency. I was baffled by the lack of it. I was just like, wow. But then also there were so many sweet people that were helping each other. It was like, I was like, wow, insane. I think someone said that the books were gone after 15 minutes. Wiped. So anyways, I got out. What really annoyed me was that we have like a group chat, right? We're like texting, and one of my friends is like, guys, they're already selling ARCs. You go to this event because you're a fan of books. You go to this event and you stand in line all day because you're so excited to hopefully get an ARC that you really want to read, okay? That was at least my experience. I really wanted Unbound, the ARC, and the auction, I was in line because I really, really wanted that. By the way, the auction, I didn't get either of those ARCs, but one of my friends got the auction and she's like, I can give it to you, like, you can have it, I don't want it. And so I'm meeting her tomorrow and she's gonna give it to me and I'm so excited. But okay, so I'm like I got home, I showered, I'd like decompressed a little bit, my heart was still racing, and one of my friends was like, hey, they're selling these ARCs. People actually went there, got the ARCs, and are now upselling them for around like $120. That is insane. I want you to understand how wild that is, because you took that ARC from someone who waited in line all freaking day because they really wanted a chance at getting that ARC, and now you're selling it for a profit. That pissed me off. Anyways, Barnes & Noble, you guys need to organize that better. That, I'm sorry, that was not it. I got books and it was worth it ultimately, because my whole thing was like, I just want to get enough books that it's worth the money that I spent. And it was worth it alone for the fact for the many people I met that were lovely. But I think you guys need to organize it better. Have 10 people in that space for 2 minutes. That, like, 2 minutes and out. 2 minutes and out. The amount of people that you had in there at once, absolutely not. Too many people. I'm like, people were tripping and falling. And I was like, That was wild. Also, if you're going to a book event, guys, we're all there for the same exact reason. We all want the same thing. We're all fans of the same things and idolize the same people. How about we help each other out? How about we're nice? Maybe you don't get the book you want and that's okay, but someone else gets it. Maybe they'll lend it to you. Maybe you can borrow it and that's fine. My boyfriend's home. Don't know if you can see him. Oh, he knocked himself. But Barnes & Noble, you guys need to organize that way better. Will I be back next year? I honestly don't know. They have an event today. I'm not going. I'm my body, like I said, does not know the difference between going head to head in a UFC fight and what happened yesterday. Because my whole body hurts. Okay. If you have been to the Barnes & Noble Book Fest, let me know your experience. I would generally really, I'm so curious to know if this was just like I don't think it was just my time slot, but I would love to know. If you've been in the past, how it was, if you're planning to go in the future, if you have any questions about the ticket buying process or anything, let me know. I would love to talk with you in the comments down below. And if you're new to my YouTube channel, I hope you join. I'm back to posting book reviews, bookish content, anything you want to see, any video form you want, long form, short form, let me know, and I'm happy to create it for you. And that's it for today's YouTube video. Dream big, stay safe, and I'll see you guys very, very soon in my next YouTube video. Bye!